All right, you're locked in, thinking double game week 32, and you need the important stuff, right?
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Exactly. We've sifted through, the articles, expert takes, everything, really, to just boil it down for you,
Get you ready for that deadline.
which is Saturday, 11:00 BST, looming large.
Yeah.
Our mission here, just give you the real insights, how to navigate Newcastle and Crystal Palace playing twice.
And actually make the most of it. Get those FPL points.
Okay, so double game week 32, the two teams everyone's talking about, Newcastle, Crystal Palace.
Right.
Newcastle have got Man United at home, then Palace at home. Seems pretty good on paper.
Potentially very juicy, yeah. 2 home games.
Then Palace, it's tougher, isn't it? Away to Man City,
Oof.
and then away to Newcastle. So yeah, you see the chances for points, but also some, tricky games.
What's interesting, though, is that second game, Newcastle hosting Palace.
The head-to-head.
Exactly. It adds this, extra layer, doesn't it? How they approach game 1 might affect game 2. It's like a little mini battle.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, captaincy. Often it's a massive debate, but this week it feels almost sewn up.
It really does lean heavily one way. Alexander Isak.
Isak, yeah. The projection tools are all sort of hovering around that 11.3, 11.4 point mark.
Which is pretty significant for a captain pick.
And you just look at his season, 20 goals, 5 assists already?
The form is definitely there. It's a compelling case.
But let's dig in a bit. Why Isak specifically for these 2 home games?
Well, that's key, isn't it? Look at Man United defensively away from home. They can be got at, especially by quick central players.
Right, Isak's movement.
Exactly. He could really exploit that. And then Palace, okay, they're better defensively maybe, but away at St. James's Park against a confident Newcastle.
Different story.
Totally. And his underlying stats at home are just better. Higher XG, more shots in the box. It's not just 2 games, it's 2 good home games.
Which brings us to the big chip question. Triple captain on Isak.
Yeah, you see people like the professor talking about it.
Seriously considering it, 2 home games, he's in form. I mean, the potential for a monster score is definitely there.
It is tempting.
But what's the calculation? Why this week versus, say, saving it for later? What makes DGW33 the potential sweet spot?
Well, look, this week you've got a clear favorite, Isak, with 2 home games. Relatively straightforward, right? Future doubles might have more teams, sure, but will there be one standout captain with 2 fixtures quite this appealing? Maybe not.
So it's a clarity.
It's the clarity and the fixture quality, yeah. The risk, obviously, is he gets injured or rotated or just blanks twice. It happens.
Of course.
But if you want that high probability, high ceiling scenario for the triple captain, well, Isak this week ticks a lot of boxes. It's about your risk appetite now versus maybe a messier picture later.
Okay. Are there any alternatives, even sort of sniffing around, long shots, maybe Jean-Philippe Mateta? Palace forward plays twice. Any merit there? I mean, City away, Newcastle away.
Yeah.
How would Palace even try and score against City?
It's a really tough sell for captaincy. Mateta's scoring okay, yeah, but against City, Palace are likely going to be defending deep, looking for counters, set pieces maybe.
Not really Mateta's game.
Not ideally, no. He's more of a box presence. Against Newcastle, maybe it's more open, but again, it's away. It feels like a massive punt, hoping he nicks a goal somewhere.
Much riskier.
Far riskier, yeah.
And then there's always Mo Salah. Single game week, West Ham at home. But it's Salah.
You can never ignore Salah at Anfield.
Even without the double, is he maybe a safer bet than a, let's say, riskier double game weeker like Mateta? Or even Isak, given the triple captain pressure?
That's the classic dilemma, isn't it? Single versus double.
Yep.
Salah's consistency, especially at home, it's undeniable. West Ham, they leak goals.
They can do, yeah.
So if you want a high floor, a good chance of a return, rather than chasing the potential huge haul from a double, Salah's a very sensible shout. His numbers are still great. Even if he hasn't scored in the last game or 2, he gets chances.
Still elite underlying stats. Okay, moving beyond the armband then. Who else from Newcastle and Palace should we be looking at? Let's start with Newcastle. Jacob Murphy.
The man of the moment.
Right. This week's budget darling, most transferred in player. That brace against Leicester really caught the eye.
Definitely turned some heads.
But is it just a flash in the pan, or do the underlying stats suggest there's more there? Especially if Anthony Gordon's injury keeps him out.
Well, it wasn't totally out of nowhere. He has actually been getting into decent positions, ranking quite high for big chances among midfielders lately, which is surprising.
Okay.
If Gordon is out, Murphy's spot looks pretty secure, probably gets more of the ball in dangerous areas. He's cheap, playing twice with attacking threat. It's rare.
A budget enabler with actual upside?
Exactly. But, temper expectations slightly. His consistency hasn't always been world-beating.
Fair enough. Then, Tino Livramento. He's starting to look really interesting defensively for Newcastle.
Yeah, he is.
Getting forward, creating chances, got that assist recently. His creative stats seem really good for a defender. Is he basically playing wingback now?
Pretty much, yeah. His positioning is way more advanced lately. He's almost like a winger sometimes.
Wow.
Which obviously means more crosses, more key passes, even the odd shot. And Newcastle have been keeping more clean sheets recently, too.
So, points potential at both ends.
Exactly. Multiple routes to points. And his price is decent, too, compared to some premium defenders.
And one more from Newcastle, slightly unexpected, maybe Dan Burn.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has a surprising number of shots in the box.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He's not exactly known for scoring goals.
Yo.
But he's tall, he goes up for set pieces. Defenders who get in the box, sometimes they just pop up with a header.
A sneaky goal threat.
More of a differential punt, definitely. But those unexpected defender goals can be absolute gold in FPL.
Okay, let's flip to Crystal Palace. Mateta, we mentioned him. He has been scoring recently, joint top for shots on target for Palace in the last 5 matches. Are we seeing a genuine improvement in their attack?
There are signs, yeah. Definitely signs of improvement. They seem to be creating a bit more. And Mateta's the one finishing things off right
There's
now.
like the fixtures.
But the fixtures, exactly. City away, Newcastle away. It's still a massive ask. So while his form is good, the team's overall attacking potential in these specific games is, well, it's questionable.
Right. What about midfield? Ebreki Eze. Always looks classy. Got set pieces, some recent attacking returns.
Yeah, Eze is definitely in the conversation.
There seems to be a bit of a debate, though. Him versus Ismail Assar. Who's the better Palace midfield pick right now?
It's tricky. Looking at the very recent stats, like Gameweek 31, Eze maybe edged it slightly, more key passes, shots in the box. Plus, those set pieces always give him that extra route to assists. Sarr's got pace, he's direct, but maybe Eze's overall creative influence is slightly higher at the moment.
Gotcha. And defensively, for Palace, Daniel Munoz, he seems quite attacking for a defender.
He does.
And incredibly, he's already got attacking returns against both Man United and Newcastle this season.
Which is pretty remarkable, isn't it?
That's a great sign heading into this double, surely.
Absolutely. It shows he can deliver against tougher teams and, crucially, against these specific opponents. Could be a really smart differential pick in defense, Munoz.
Okay, let's widen the net. Single game week players. We mentioned Salah. Anyone else really demanding attention this week, even without 2 games?
Purvis is Estupiñán at Brighton, home to Leicester.
Ooh, yeah. Leicester aren't scoring, look shaky at the back.
Exactly. It looks like a great fixture on paper. Estupiñán's attacking numbers are fantastic for a defender. Loads of crosses, gets forward, even has decent XG himself.
Clean sheet potential and attacking returns.
That's the hope, yeah. Definitely one to consider.
Aston Villa. They play Southampton at home, looks good. Milan's been scoring. Watkins is Watkins. But the big Champions League game against PSG looms large. Rotation risk.
Huge rotation risk. That's the massive caveat with Villa assets this week. Emery's definitely going to have one eye, probably both eyes, on that second leg.
So Watkins could easily be rested.
It's a significant risk, yeah. Malin may be slightly safer for minutes as he can't play in Europe and he's been scoring. But still, it's a gamble.
A real dilemma. What about a safer defensive pick? Arsenal's David Raya?
Yeah, he's being mentioned.
The logic being, with Real Madrid coming up, maybe Arteta rotates some outfield players, but the keeper is usually safe.
That's generally the thinking, yeah. Keepers are less prone to rotation. Arsenal are defensively solid, so if you just want a reliable starting keeper with a good chance of a clean sheet this week,
Raya's a decent shout.
He's a pretty safe pair of hands, literally and figuratively, especially if you're worried about outfield rotation elsewhere.
Okay, team news. Always crucial, especially this week. Let's run through the big ones. Newcastle. Anthony Gordon.
Still a doubt. Looks like a late call.
That's massive. Isak had that groin issue.
Seems like he'll be okay, expected to play, but obviously, keep an eye out.
Thank goodness for Isak owners. Joe Willock.
Definitely out for at least the first game concussion protocol.
Okay. So that Gordon uncertainty really impacts things, especially for Murphy owners or potential buyers.
Absolutely. And any late setback for Isak would just throw captaincy plans into chaos.
Right. Arsenal, Saka and Rice, both trained, both fit.
Good news.
Though, like you said, that Saka rotation risk for the Champions League is still a little niggle in the background.
It's something Arteta might consider, yeah.
Liverpool. Allison's fit. Chelsea. Cole Palmer seems okay, managed minutes, but expected to start.
Yeah, Palmer seems fine, which is a relief for his, what, 70% ownership?
Something like that. Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Guehi and Nketiah suspended for the first game.
Weakens them defensively against City, for sure.
We mentioned the Villa rotation risk. Any other quick injury notes people should be aware of?
Maybe Justin Kluivert at Bournemouth. He's a doubt. Ola Aina for Forest might be back next week. Everton, Calvert-Lewin still looks a little way off. Just small things that might affect your bench planning.
Good shouts. Okay, let's quickly revisit Chip's strategy. We talked triple captain Isak. What about bench boost? Is DGW32 the week, or are people holding for DGW33?
That's the other big strategic question, isn't it?
DGW33 has Arsenal, Villa, City, but they all blank in 34.
Exactly. So it's tangled up with your free hit plans. If you bench boost now, you maximize the Newcastle Palace doublers.
Makes sense.
If you save it for DGW33, you potentially get more premium doublers, but then you probably need that free hit for Game Week 34 to navigate the blanks.
So no easy answer. Depends on your other chips.
Pretty much. If you have the free hit for 34, maybe saving bench boost for 33 is the higher ceiling play. If not, DGW32 with a solid squad could be perfectly fine.
Right. And quickly, price changes, transfers. Jacob Murphy's flying in.
Yeah, his price is likely going up. If you want him, probably best to act sooner rather than later. Save that 0.1 meter.
Every little helps. Okay, wrapping up the expert thoughts then. Seems like Isak is the consensus captain.
Overwhelmingly so.
The Palace midfield, Eze versus Sarr. Still a bit of a debate, maybe.
Yeah, slight edge to Eze, perhaps, but it's close.
And that European rotation risk? It's just a constant worry for Villa and Arsenal assets.
It really is. You just have to factor that uncertainty into your decisions. Ultimately, expert opinion is useful, but it's got to fit your team and your strategy.
Absolutely. So the bottom line for double game week 32, Isak looks like the captain. Newcastle and Palace players offer real potential, but you've got to be glued to that team news.
Laser focus, yeah. Rotation, injuries, it's crucial.
And remember that deadline, Saturday, April 12th, 11:00 BST. Don't miss it.
Yeah, this game week really tests how you balance that risk and reward. The lure of the double versus the potential traps.
So final thought for everyone listening then. With this double game week upon us, chips in play, how are you going to navigate it? You following the Isak train? Or maybe looking for that sneaky differential to make up ground.
Yeah, what's your move going to be?
Do that final bit of research, trust your gut based on everything we've covered, and yeah, best of luck for Game Week 32.